So that measures it then?
There's 3 drams in there. This gun should take about 6, and ball. They're all proof. It would help before I do that. Make sure I get rid of all this gunk.
That's what they should do, see. You know, the old fire.
Would it be okay if you
moved
moved
around a little? Okay. So, I've now got powder in the end there, which I now put in the pan. Bring my musket about. Sorry, you can imagine this on a battlefield with about 200 of you all doing this at the same time. Or the worst.
Do you mind holding it?
No.
Look
No problem. And what I'm going to do just before is turn it down to low.
Yes.
How long have you been
In the Sealed Knot?
Yeah.
Since 1980.
Wow.
I met my husband in the Sealed Knot, and our children.
Yes, we heard.
4 out today have been brought up in the Sealed Knot. My eldest son will be a member of the Sealed Knot for 27 years.
Wow.
What do you think are the benefits?
I think if you have a love of history, it's not really... When we started in 1968, when Brigadier Peter Young first decided that he was fed up of playing with toy soldiers and wanted to go back to having soldiers that he could move around, they got together at Oxford and said, right, we're going to he was launching a book which was called Edge Hill, and he wanted to know what a cavalry charge felt like, because having been the youngest brigadier in the British Army in the Second World War, before Enoch Powell came along, of course, and then training the Arab Legion, he had a lot of military experience. He was with the commandos. And he decided that he would like us to go and play. He never envisaged that we'd be 6,000 strong, which we are now, and we fight up and down the country. But it's an educational charity. The idea is, you'll get it a lot in Carmarthen. People say, English Civil War, why should we be interested in the English Civil War? Well, the answer is, it became known as the English Civil War after the American Civil War. And people forget, we had civil wars before. We had Stephen and Matilda. We had the War of the Roses. They don't think of them as civil war in the same way as you would during the 17th century. And they forget that the men of Carmarthen and Cardigan and Pembroke came out as the militia and actually marched to Oxford, where they joined the King's Army, and were involved in quite a few serious engagements. So Henry Vaughan is a local man, or he was, in that he's the uncle of the second Earl of Carberry, whose house is at Golden Grove. And it is something, we're all families or individuals inside the society, but it feels like a big family. If one of us gets into trouble, everybody comes running. You get it going to a muster, somebody gets a flat tyre and they got an SK on the back of their car, hordes of people just go into the lay-by and help them change their tyre.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah? So it works from that point of view. It is meant to educate. It's also an awful lot of fun.
It looks like it.
After 30 years, there's obviously something about it,
Yes,
otherwise you
it
wouldn't keep
would be
doing it.
No.
Yes? So, shall we fire this game?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. I don't know what that went on the Richter scale.
That's only tissue paper.
That's only tissue paper. Only in the 17th century, of course, they would have had ball, which they would have chewed to make it the right shape. Musketeers in the 17th century quite regularly, and with the musketeering outfit, would have buttons running down the outside of their legs, with the intention that when you ran out of ball and there was nobody making any, you just rip them off and down the barrel they go. Because at 1,000 miles an hour, if this hits somebody, it's going to go ping, even to the point that you haven't got any protection with armour. You're alright against swords, you're alright against pike, but you're not much good against a gun.
No.
And this is nowhere near as thick as it would have been. You're looking at possibly 16 gauge steel instead of 18. They were heavy. The pikemen, as the Civil War went on, when you get the archaeologists go and look into the ditches in front of the moats in front of the castles, you will find full suits of armour have been thrown away. Because they don't protect you against musket ball, why weather?
No, quite.
Yeah? And I assume you've talked to some of the pikemen to know about how gruesome it is from a pikeman's point of view.
Have you?
Probably my eldest son, was it?
Yes, I think you did speak to